Alright everyone, link in the description to a really surreal story in a Bloomberg op-ed claiming that Joe Biden should do everything in his power to keep the gas prices high, because then you'll undergo a remarkable transformation towards electric vehicles and solar panels, and somehow people during the Bidenomic crunch will have the money to invest in these things. Now, there are people that are repairing their 20-year-old junkers simply to save a little bit of money, because even if they can get their vehicle a really good mark on trade-in, it's got 10 million miles on it, but I'll give you $5,000 for it. Hey, here's this heavily used other car. Yeah, you can get it for $10,000. Wonderful. Now that's a really, your car is worth more. So is the one that you would have to replace it with. It's not really economically feasible. There are a lot of people that are holding on to their old gas guzzlers because after trade-in, there's no reason to switch. And Bloomberg, encouraging Joe Biden to keep gas prices above $5 a gallon. Now, this is convoluted. Let me analyze this. Let me try to unwind what is effectively a big knotted up wad of fucking sticky spaghetti. Somebody forgot to put the olive oil in the spaghetti, and now it's basically a pile of paste. And imagine that you have to take apart every strand one by one without breaking any of them. That's basically what happens when we have to analyze this kind of crap, this kind of story. I was told for some time that Biden had no effect on the gas prices. When they were rising, I was told it was all Putin's fault. So I guess, is Putin the one dropping the gas prices by doing absolutely nothing different from what he's been doing now for months? I don't know. The world may never know. Meanwhile, Biden now is singularly responsible when the gas prices are temporarily falling. And I do say temporarily because that gas price holiday is going to go bye-bye in a few months. The strategic oil reserve, which is having a negligible impact if you look at the amount of oil dispersed, eventually begins to run on level red, and you can't drain much more of it. You do realize that that strategic reserve is mainly meant for military or emergency purposes. Well, simply having high gas prices is not an emergency. I'm surprised that a court hasn't stepped in and told Biden to cut it out, because he's only doing this to lower the gas price by 5 fucking cents a gallon or something like that. The other problem is that you have so much destabilization in the world, oil prices could skyrocket at any time, belatedly dragging the gas price back up. There's no reason that that can't happen. It's good that the gas prices are moving in a better direction. It's really, there's a negligible impact as far as Biden's policies. The ones that he's crowing about maybe save you 20, 30 cents out of that total. Where's the rest coming from? It's the law of supply and demand. It's coming from the market itself. It's interesting because those same people are also blamed for the high gas prices. Gas stations, oil refineries, fuel companies in general, people who don't improve their design on cars, they're not getting enough miles per gallon. It's very, very interesting. And also, again, very, very complex because the blame game here and the deflection is quite sheer. Why would keeping gas prices high do anything other than cripple the economy? My question to the leftoids that are actually, they're happy about this, and Biden briefly was too, well, we're undergoing a remarkable transformation as a result of the gas prices being higher. This will bring forth an American renaissance where everyone will have charging stations and shit in their homes, supposedly. They're going to spend the 30, 40, 50,000 that they need to get a low-end electric vehicle just so they can putter it around town. Then when they have to pay 8 to 10 grand to replace the battery, which won't even be under a 10-year warranty, when the vehicle stops working and they go fucking bankrupt trying to replace the battery, yeah, good time will be had by all. There's no problem here whatsoever. Oh yeah, and the power grid will begin to fail because of the extra electricity being gobbled up, but that's not a problem either. Don't worry, we're Americans, we can compensate. And have you seen this from Joe Biden? And he's done this before. We're Americans, we're the greatest people ever, we can do whatever we want. If we just put our minds to it, if we have enough willpower, we can make magic happen. You're nuts. Yes, it's good to have a patriotic spirit, believe in your country and do your part, but you're not doing your part. You've wrecked the economy. You've made it impossible for people to have that sort of can-do spirit because you've made their lives miserable. They are not capable at this moment of transferring to electric vehicles. The grid at this point is not capable of sustaining electric vehicles, and they're a meme anyway. Mostly they're coal-powered cars. You're getting that electricity from nuclear and coal and oil and natural gas. Less than 20% of it is coming from so-called renewable resources in most parts of the country. You can push 25 in a handful of states. Texas, by the way, I believe being one of them. And that's it. The rest is coming out of the ground anyway, as far as fossilized fern remains or supposedly liquid dinosaurs. Of course, oil actually comes from various biotic processes and differentially osmotic rock. It's very interesting. I believe in the bacteria poop theory as far as where oil comes from. That's where the energy is coming from. And it's also where the energy comes from to refine all the lithium over in China and parts of Africa that goes into the electric car battery. And to make the aluminum for the skeleton of the car or for the windmill turbines that you put up. Or the silicon that you've refined out in order to make solar cells. Or the glass, for that matter, to cover them over. It all goes back to fossil fuels. You can't even get the uranium out of the ground and smelt it down and refine it without using fossil fuels on a massive scale. You know how much fuel those 50-ton dump trucks use? It's more than a little. And then they go around and around and around these fucking open pit mines all over Australia. They get like probably a half a mile to the gallon. And Bloomberg is encouraging him to keep the gas prices high. It won't lead to any transformation in energy. This is going to be one of Biden's Waterloo, basically. He refuses to back down. He's going to lose. But he's entrenched himself. He's dug in too deep at this point with regards to this grift, which is electric vehicles, transformative economics, and all these other buzz terms. He's done it for so long. And initially, it looked like the economy was not great. It wasn't as good as under Trump for 3.5 years, but it was stable. Well, it made sense at the time to say, well, things have recovered. Joblessness is under 5%. It's time to invest in green energy. And he got shot down on the Green New Spiel, got parsed out of the infrastructure bill. He's still taking credit for some mass transformation as far as energy, even though those parts were 90+% removed, which is also hilarious. But what really gets me with things like this is that the legacy media refuse to blame Biden at all for the prices of gas and oil, etc., rising. But now they have nothing to say in derision for the Biden admin when it comes out with its lame and usually misleading infographics saying, well, we brought the price down. And then you have these morons that are saying it's a bad thing that the price is going down at all. Now, it doesn't matter what the actual cause is. Yes, if people are paying less at the pump, that makes the economy better, generally speaking. It makes it better for the average American. Can you imagine being like you're working lower middle class or something? You're struggling to fill your gas tank, and then you read Bloomberg, and they're encouraging the President of the United States, the asterisk steward, to keep the price high and put the screws to you more in hopes that you'll somehow magically generate the money necessary to get an electric vehicle. A lot of people have been taking out credit lines to deal with the Bidenflation. They're going to wreck their credit at some point. They're not even going to qualify for a loan for those EVs. And they don't have enough cash on hand to pay for it outright. They're not in that, they're not upper middle class. They're not in the part of the population that at least can get a decent used car and just bring a wad of cash to buy it with and not have the debt, the car loans and shit like that. Not part of that same class of society. This is basically the pipe dream of the upper middle class and above in urban areas. And that's really, that's the Biden administration to a T anyway. These people are all silver spooners. Or they're inbred and crazy like Joe Biden, you know, the grown-up version of the deliverance banjo kid. That's about all. Peace out.